Hello everybody, welcome to my channel, Super Sam 7, and this video is my very first Marvel Epic Collection I am doing a review on. It is Moon Knight Volume 1, Bad Moon Rising. There's only been about 5 Epic Collections of this made so far. Another one, which will be Volume 5, will come out this year in October. Here's the back of it. It collects a lot of different appearances of Moon Knight. I think these are all of his first appearances, which crossed over with, well, Marvel Spotlight, The Defenders, The Spectacular Spider-Man, and the Hulk magazine. And only the first 4 issues of his full-on series is in here, but it's definitely a great collection for people who want to get invested and learn about Moon Knight. Discover the many faces of the Moon Knight. So you guys, he looks really cool. The first time I ever really learned about Moon Knight was he was described to me as Marvel's Batman. And yeah, that's definitely true, especially in the first issues of here. That's written by Doug Moench. He's the one who writes almost all this for Moon Knight, mostly the ones that he doesn't do a crossover with the Defenders and Spider-Man. Here's the side of it right here. I love these sides for the Epic Collections. Okay, let's open it up. On the page for since it's my first Epic Collection, I'm also going to go through the Epic Collection a little bit slowly, so you know what it is. So as you see here, it's kind of a whitish blue. And every page or cover, back cover, shows you all the Epic Collections that are out right now. So there's Carnage Volume 1. So I think I got the reprint of Volume 1. There's Generation X, Ghost Rider Volume 1. They have had Volume 6 through 9 of the Defenders. Excalibur's Volumes 1 through 4 and 8. Avengers 1 through 9, and then 16 through 23 or 24. Avengers West Coast 1 through 5. Okay. Here you go. The first page says, gives you a little picture, unique picture of the character and what's collected. Volume 1 in the years goes from 1975, which was Moon Knight's first appearance in Werewolf by Night issue 32, into 1981, specifically February 1981, where Moon Knight issue 4 released. And right here, you see the title of the character. This is about Moon Knight. Epic Collection is called Bad Moon Rising. And it has all the contents on one page about what number of the page it starts and what month it was published and what the title is. So let's just look at Spectacular Spider-Man issue 22. By the Light of the Silvery Moon Knight, September 1978. This is just stuff about the collection manufactured in 2022. Oh well. Dead, boom, finally the content. Werewolf by Night, issue 32. Moon Knight gets hired by this organization called the Committee. And he looks a lot different. He actually has a bigger cape. As you see, it's kind of different in his first appearance. He is hired by this organization called the Committee to go after Jack Russell, aka the Werewolf by Night, and capture him for payment. But Moon Knight, after seeing where Jack Russell turned human, he decides to go and back on the organization, and they team up and fight them. And he escapes, the Committee gets destroyed, and he leaves, and Moon Knight just kind of lets him go, because it was almost like a turning moment, especially in this story, where Moon Knight seems like a villain turned hero a little bit. He even goes to Jack Russell's house and threatens his dad and him. Where's that page? Right here. After that, Moon Knight... Oh, I love this cover. Look at that. Moon Knight also is a character who talks a little bit funny. He kind of says a lot more... He kind of gets a lot more meaner. And says a lot more bad words when he's fighting people. So there's that, if you want uniqueness and change. After that, he was in this series called Marvel Spotlight, issues 28 and 29, where he goes after this villain called the Conquer Lord, who wants to take over as mayor or stop a mayor election. I kind of forget what it was about, but he stops him. And this is when we have the return of his helicopter pilot called Frenchie. He's the guy who kind of follows Mark Spector, aka Moon Knight, around. Also, Moon Knight had his identity known by the villains in the last issue of the Committee, or the last storyline in the Committee. And this one as well, where he has 3 identities. One is Jake Lockley, who is a cab driver, and that's kind of how he gets the lowdown on crimes and stuff in the neighborhood. The other one is Stephen Grant, who's a millionaire, and his real name is Mark Spector, and then, of course, has the vigilante Moon Knight. Villain the Conqueror gets the information from the committee about the hero and goes after it. He kills the guy who told him the information too, right there. Let's see if they introduce. Yep, this is the issue where they here's the Conqueror Lord's costume. It's kind of weird, but anyway. This is the issue that introduces his or Stephen Grant's millionaire mansion and his girlfriend Marlene. And he turns into Jake Lockley there to get the lowdown. I don't think you ever see his boss again in this issue. So in this collection, there you go. He also goes to this diner. Her name's Gina. She's kind of his lowdown. Wow, he looks a lot different in the other stories. He has long hair. He's kind of a bum in the streets who helps him out. So anyway, the mirror's about to be assassinated, and Moon Knight stops it. Enough. This cover is also really cool, fighting on a giant chessboard. Eventually, he manages to track down the Conqueror Lord and easily defeat him. We see some art of all the other issues of his collections, like the Essential Werewolf by Night Volume 2. What are these? Countdown to Dark hardcover, Dark Premiere hardcover. Then his appearances in the Defenders. He's barely in the Defenders stories. He's just around. It's not really written that good. I don't really want to talk about the Defenders since this is a Moon Knight video. He fights Scorpio Scorpio, who is like Nick Fury's brother, who's evil. Moon Knight has this kind of cool escape trick in this, I think it's the last page. This is issue 51 a little bit. He talks about how he filled up a beer can with air, and then he survived when the tank he was in was being filled with water to get him killed. Anyway, after that, he was in Spectacular Spider-Man issue 22, and Moon Knight's going after this guy's getting killed. He stops it, or he tries to, the guy still dies. He goes after the Maggia crime family, and they have hired this old Spider-Man villain called Cyclone to go after him. So Spider-Man's there, he sees Moon Knight, he doesn't recognize Moon Knight even though he's heard of him. Then Cyclone appears, and he kills the guy who Moon Knight was trying to get information about the Maggia family being met and maybe having a new head. There he is. Cyclone's back. You see how he takes the air out of this guy's lungs and suffocates him to death. But anyway, Spider-Man follows Moon Knight to his mansion. He actually makes the mansion very foggy so Spider-Man doesn't recognize him or where they are, even though it kind of just pops in anyway right there. And they're going after Big M, apparently the new leader of the Maggia crime family. You can see other crime people in all over the world. Then they go. And Cyclone is working for Big M, but you never see him, and I don't think it's ever answered because he's actually in one of these coffins right here. I don't think maybe they explain it later in Spider-Man issue. I honestly forget. The next issue after this one for Spider-Man was the first appearance of Hypno Hustler. But anyway, so Moon Knight just casts Cyclone slip on the floor and he falls down. Like, okay, that's a little bit weird. Then he was in Marvel 2-in-1 issue 52, and I think this is the first appearance of the villain Crossfire, who he wants to kill all the metahumans. He wants to do that because he believes that they're kind of messing up society. Also, Moon Knight actually has history with Crossfire. I thought Crossfire was dead, but he survived. So that's kind of what gets Moon Knight in on this adventure with the Thing, and they easily defeat him. After that, he was in the Hulk magazine. These are written by Doug Moench, just like Moon Knight's first two stories. And he has a story in the magazine where he just does his own thing, going around stopping villains, stopping crimes, hunting, being investigating. And the art here is amazing. This is definitely the best art in the stories, in the collection. Look at that. Interrogating people. He hunts down leads on this investigative reporter that got murdered. And the guy's about to kill Marlene. He saves his girlfriend. Beats up the guy. The mystery goes on. I'm not going to talk too much about it, but he definitely uses his other identities here. There's him as Mark Spector. Jake Locke. Wow. Stephen Grant, millionaire. Why am I getting that wrong? He distracts the dogs right there to break into this mansion where this trophy was stolen. or artifact was stolen. He stops the guards. I really like the fight scenes in this story. And then he just leaves, and Mark and Stephen Grant's like, oh, Moon Knight was the guy who helped me here. Anyway, he has this kind of cool opening picture for this story, which shows Moon Knight and his weapons. He actually fights this guy called Lunapin or something. He's basically like I guess a little bit like a werewolf, but he also fights with swords like the Batman villain Cavalier. Moon Knight actually has some trouble fighting him, but hits him with his projectile. And the guy actually kills himself by throwing himself on the blade Moon Knight is holding. And Moon Knight kind of gets sad about it and leaves. And you see more of the Hulk magazine stuff there. This is a little bit of a two-part story, but it's really it's super fast read. Moon Knight's going to some guy's house for a big deal with the moon, with a moon eclipse, and his powers kind of go out for a little bit because the moon isn't. When the moon is full, he has superpowers, like super strength and whatnot. When the moon is covered and it's nighttime, he loses a bunch of his powers, so there's that. This guy's astronomer house was about to get mugged, and Moon Knight shows up, or Mark Spector, Jake, I'll just say Mark Spector turns into Moon Knight and goes after them, and they bump into a big creature in the woods here, and you don't see him until the next issue, which is, that big creature was the Hulk, and Hulk didn't recognize Moon Knight, so he just pushed him out of the way. And Hulk's just walking around. It's actually a good Hulk story as well. He's like, where is Moon? Moon has gone. Hulk, find Moon, or whatever. Then the moon comes back and he's all normal. This one was really interesting. It's called Knights Born 10 Years Gone. And it has Moon Knight go after this guy called the Hatchet Man. He just goes around town training. And when he sees a nurse, he murders them with his hatchet. Now, Moon Knight is hunting the guy. It's kind of personal for him because, plot twist, the Hatchet Man is actually his brother. Which you don't even realize that until the end of the first part, if that. He has a really cool mask, and I think they could have done a lot more with this guy. I don't know if he ever returns or if they do anything different with Mark Spector. He is unmasking himself, yelling at his brother. And his brother accidentally kills himself by jumping off a cliff, getting himself stabbed by a tree. His mask falls off, and the hatchet falls onto the mask. And Hatchet Man actually hits Moon Knight's girlfriend, Marlene. But the cops let Moon Knight go away because he helped stop the bad guy and whatnot. He's actually, Moon Knight's probably one of the most down-to-earth characters I've read from Marvel's heroes. Not really down-to-earth, but just the most, normal. This is probably what a human being in the real world would act like as a hero who does this stuff. In the next story, he just walks around town and he sees a whole bunch of bad stuff happening. And he kind of gets inspired to continue to do good again. Marvel Preview issue 21. This was a big issue. This guy is mind-controlled, basically. Or not mind-controlled, but, he got a bunch of, scientific experiments done on him to make him mind-controlled. And he also has super strength and, how a madman is 10 times the strength of a normal man. He kind of do that to this guy with the experiments. So Moon Knight solves the whole mystery about it. I love this art. In this style, and he stops him in the whole plan thing. Was called Operation Cobra. He also gets struck and he looks like he's going crazy, but he eventually breaks out of it. That guy who gets mind control kind of looks like the Thinker in the New 52, the Flash villain Thinker from DC. Where was I? I just saw a picture. Oh, yeah, right here. They made him cry and rage and do everything. I think that guy, there's a guy who Mark Spector is after. He was actually, it's kind of funny. Not funny, but this guy his body gets mailed to Stephen Grant in a box, his dead body. And he actually knew the guy because, they worked together on special ops, or not special ops, but, for the committee, right? Yeah, or company. A company. So he goes after looking for his death and he finds this whole experiment and stops him in a really cool story with everyone working together. Here's this thing. It's just talking about Moon Knight. I don't know if you can... Let me see. Some of the pages blurry, but I haven't read this. Someday I will. And then here's the official Moon Knight stories starting right here. Issue 1, November 1980, right? 80, yep, 1 year before 1981. This is an awesome cover. There's just 3 identities right here. Stephen Grant, millionaire, Mark Spector, normal commando guy, and Jake Lockley, cabbie. This opens up in the past. This is more of an origin story of Moon Knight, which I guess makes sense as his origin one. They kind of rewrite his origin story in issue 4 of this. He's working right now for this guy called Bushman. He's this really crazy looking dude. And they attack a village, and Bushman just kills people whenever he feels like it. And Mark Spector fights back, but he gets knocked down and left into the desert to die. And he actually does die, apparently. I don't know much about Moon Knight, but he dies underneath this statue of this Egyptian god called Khonshu. And Moon Knight, and then Mark Spector comes back to life, takes the statue's cloak, and becomes Moon Knight and goes after Bushman. Bushman gets away though, but the girl whose father Bushman killed, which made Mark Spector betray Bushman, his daughter becomes Moon Knight's girlfriend, Marlene. And then it flashes forward to the present with Moon Knight, his identities. And and Bushman is back in town, so Moon Knight goes after him. He gets the information from, how do I forget his name? The guy I pointed out earlier who's homeless, or who's a bum, who helps Moon Knight because he tells him stuff going on in the street. That's what he looks like now. He goes after Bushman. Bushman tries to bite him, but he bites his truncheon. And when he gets up here, and he almost beats Bushman to death because of what he did to Marlene's dad, killed her dad. But he stops, sends him to jail with his calling card. The end. Here's issue 2. He was up against this guy called the Slasher, who's going around killing a bunch of homeless people, a bunch of people in the streets. And it's because he's searching for someone. He's done it all the time, and it turns out the person he's searching for, well, I won't spoil it, because we get this origin story for the bum, Crawley, that's his name. He was a normal finance guy, then he got addicted to drinking too much, and then his wife left him, and then he was out on the street. This is also the issue where Stephen Grant brings in the diner girl, Jenna, and her 2 sons, tells them about his secret identities and him being Moon Knight, and gets their help for solving cases, which is actually really cool. You don't see that much in the first few issues, just the hero exposing the identity to his friends, basically. Although they kind of knew that cab driver Jake Lockley wasn't a normal cab driver. They all kind of assumed that, but he basically tells them the truth here. So it turns out that the Slasher is actually Crawley's son. Yes, the son, his wife, and took his son, walked out, and his wife died. The Slasher's mom died. Once revenge, that's why he's going around killing people. Moon Knight accidentally fights him, and the guy accidentally falls off the roof and dies. There you go. Issue 3, he fights this guy called the Midnight Man. He's just an art collector, and he kind of knows that Mark Spector or Stephen Grant is Moon Knight, so he tries to lay a trap for him, but it definitely goes awry. I actually did not see this coming, probably because it was kind of too cliche, but anyway, Moon Knight fights him. I actually like this story. I actually do. Then issue 4 is the big turning point, because this is the return of the committee from the first story in this epic collection, this last story in the epic collection, and there's 5 people who get hired to go after Moon Knight and kill him. Boom Boom for explosive razors, Blade, Ice is a sniper, Dragon is a kung fu guy, and Bull is just a big buff guy. They're hired by the committee to go after and kill Moon Knight. When they track him down, the 2 sons, they actually managed to get a gun away from a guy who's in the club. Marlene also does some detective work going undercover to learn about these assassins' names. And Moon Knight is just going around doing his thing, being different characters to find out more clues. And it turns out there's a big committee meeting. There's a meeting of the committee tonight. And the 5 assassins are turning on the committee to get money from them. They say it's a lot easier to just do that, go up against the committee, than go up against Moon Knight. There's a big fight with Moon Knight. He chases them on a boat, or he jumps on the speedboat the big guy's trying to get away with, and stops, and they all crash. And that's the end of that. They all have a nice drink with the $125,000. The committee these guys were going to get paid by the committee to kill Moon Knight. So why did I say this was rewrote his origin story? Well, at first we thought that the Moon Knight gear was given to him by the committee originally to hunt Jack Russell, but it turns out that Frenchie is a member of the committee in secret for Mark Spector, and he's the one who made up the Moon Knight. He pretended to make up the Moon Knight garb for Moon Knight to wear. So it was really all Moon Knight that whole time. They stop him, and it ends like I already said. Okay, so let's continue looking at his Epic Collection, because every Epic Collection I know of has extras in the back. So here's Moon Knight Special Edition 1, Hulk 13 through 14. Here's the cover there, where he fights that werewolf-like guy. Number 2, which has Hulk 15, 17, and 18 stories. He fights the Hatchet Man. Issue 3, which was Marvel Premiere, issue 21, and Hulk, issue 20. Did the Hulk magazine change its name to Marvel Preview? I don't know. Maybe. So there's that. Oh, there's another picture of the guy with the stuff in his head right there. Moon Knight Portfolio. Marlene. Moon Knight. I love this look. I mean, it's kind of taken up by Gutter Loss for the Cowbear, but who cares about the Jake Lockley, huh? There's that. There's a lot more extras in here. Here's Crawley and Gina at the diner who now help Moon Knight. There's Frenchie as pilot, as helicopter pilot. I have no idea who Scarlet is, so maybe she's introduced in the next volume. Here's an introduction by Jim Shooter talking about how Moon Knight was kind of brought to the big leagues. House ads for Marvel Preview 21. That issue was all about Moon Knight. House ads for the Moon Knight series Essential Moon Knight Volume 1 cover, which is the same as the back of this. Man from Defenders for I never even saw this, and I had I have all the Marvel Essentials of Defenders, and I've never seen that picture before. But anyway, I like this issue or page. What do you think of Moon Knight, Daredevil? Personally, I can't see him. Okay, read it. Amazing Heroes issue 6 had the promotion for Moon Knight, and then just some sketches in the back, and then the rest of the Epic Collection line for the other characters like Hulk and Iron Man, Moon Knight, issues 1 through 3, had only 1 through 3 at this time. Thor, 1 through 8, 11, 12, 16 through 20 and 23. Venom, 1 and 2. Wolverine. Okay, you get it. And then that is it for my first Epic Collection. I kind of just went through this, and I just want to talk about it. Now, I have volumes 2 through 3, as you can see right here. But I don't think I'm going to review them all one after another right now. But this volume 2 has issues 5 through 23, and that's all it has. So a lot more straightforward than this one. It kind of jumped around everywhere. Not even all of them I liked. I mean, the Defenders are awesome, but reading it for Moon Knight didn't really work. So yeah, there's Moon Knight Epic Collection in volume 1. Like I said at the start of this, I was comparing Moon Knight to Batman, and yeah, a lot of fights, and what he does is just like the Caped Crusader, a lot of poses he has. And he even had, like this story, the first solo adventure after Marvel Premiere that he had was in Hulk Magazine issue 11, where he goes after some journalist that gets killed. He has a huge investigation on him. Oh, one thing I should note, these pages have these big white space right here, which just has the page number. The top doesn't. I kind of feel like maybe they could have spread the pages out. You get it, but hey, that's just what Epic Collections are. The greatest thing about these Epic Collections is they're very easy to carry around. It has about 2 years when it gets to it. Like I said, let me just grab it. 1981 to 1982 is the stories of issues 5 through, oh, this is $5 more than this one. But anyway, is the time the stories take place in here. This one being volume 1, jumping around everywhere, is 6 years. Oh, there he is, the guy. Ludapin, I think is how you say his name, being turned in, kind of going into a werewolf figure right there. I never really cared that much about Moon Knight, wanted to learn about him, but he is a cool enough character to have an Epic Collection line, and I do appreciate that they made one. This October, a 6th Moon Knight omnibus is coming out. I have the first I have volumes 1 and 2. Then Mark Spector Moon Knight, the next Moon Knight series, volume 1. Volume 2 comes out next month in March. Then I have the 2006 series in omnibus format. And then there's this by Jed MacLeay Moon Knight, which I think started in 2020 or 2021. That omnibus is coming out. So Moon Knight will have 6 omnibuses. That is crazy. So I guess he's become more of a big character nowadays than I thought. Probably because of the TV show, but yeah, this is, from what I can tell, this is nothing like the TV show. I think this is a lot better. I'm not really into all that Fist of Khonshu stuff. I like him being more like Batman. Maybe I like that stuff more when I read it someday. So yeah, the most unique thing about Moon Knight is his different personalities. I like Marlene as his girlfriend, side chick. Frenchie, I never really cared for. My first time reading about him was in Mark Spector. My first time reading Moon Knight comic, that was not in the Spider-Man story that was in here, was in issues 8 through 10, which was during the Acts of Vengeance storyline. And even then, I didn't think Frenchie was really meaningful. I mean, I can't really see... I don't really care for his moments in this issue, his helicopter pilot. There's also this guy who's like his butler at the mansion. He kind of has some funny moments, but anyway. Bushman, I'm pretty sure he returns or he fights Luke Cage someday. Maybe I'm thinking of Bushwhacker. I probably am. So there's the Midnight Man in secret setting up Mark Spector, saying he's going to get robbed. And Moon Knight fights him, and the guy actually might return. He probably does return because he falls off a cliff after getting shot, but he got shot with rubber bullets, so he probably survived. Let's be honest, it's the comics, so he probably did survive. I also like that Moon Knight has a bunch of gadgets he uses all the time on his costume. You can see the little truncheon on his boot right here, his cape. This looks like it seems like he has a glider, like a giant crescent moon glider, but he does not. I don't know, I saw that for the first time in the cover, and I thought he did, or he might have. So, would I recommend this? Honestly, I don't think I would recommend this if you really wanna, I'm a completionist, so, and it's a volume 1, so why would I not? Because there's not that much Moon Knight stuff. It's not full of Moon Knight characters, and there's a lot of introduction, and like I said, they retconned some things in issue 4 that started, or that we first saw in Werewolf by Night, issues 33, or 32, and 33. This was definitely the most, unique Moon Knight when he was fighting. He's all flipping out and insulting his enemy, and not in a funny way. He gets all mad and fights the werewolf, and they go underwater and he turns human and he just kicks him right in the head. And he has a silver moon-shaped crescent in his body. I actually like that Moon Knight is silver. He looks white, but he's supposed to be silver like a ghost in the night. There's some Jack Russell stuff here, but I don't really know much about it. See, the committee has him locked up, and they also kidnapped Jack Russell's 2 of his friends. So, Moon Knight decides, you know what, it's over. He turns on him, saves them, and leaves through the window. Okay. So thank you for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this look at Moon Knight Epic Collection Volume 1, Bad Moon Rising, and have a great day.